First of all, please subscribe to the page when you get the opportunity and turn notifications on. It's going to alert you as we post new stuff, and it'll help support us. Okay, with Hamilton, Montreal, Calgary, Toronto playing back-to-back this week. That's half the league. And that's a thing that doesn't happen often in other leagues. It happens in our regular season. It may happen in the NFL or major college in playoff scenarios where you play somebody the last game and then you play them in the playoffs. But for us, it's going to happen during the season. Also, a lot of times, Calgary is going to be on a short week. They played Sunday and then they play Friday, so there's not enough time in the week. They won't have a normal practice schedule. That's usually 3 days of practice, a day before or a travel day, and then the game day. So I'm sure they're either going to 1 day of practice this week or 2. I'll go through a shortened practice plan at the end of this and show you what a short week is. One of the reasons teams do short weeks, or the league does short weeks for the same opponent, is there's less preparation. So let's understand what that means. So first of all, there's less work from a coaching standpoint because you don't have to break down the next opponent. And what does that mean? Let's say, all right, Calgary, Toronto. Well, let's say Calgary was playing Toronto, and then the next week they're playing Winnipeg. Well, the week of the Toronto game, you may not understand that the coaches are still prepping for Winnipeg. They're getting all their early work done of breaking down the game film. What does that mean? Assigning information that you can study. Long story short. Well, when it's the same opponent, you don't have to do all the prep. You're going to be like, well, we're playing the same opponent. We don't have to do extra prep for that team. And then one of the most important things is sometimes, let's say it is Winnipeg. Well, you may play on a Friday, and Winnipeg may not play till Sunday. So you might be behind. You're going to be using older film to study them, but you don't have their most up-to-date stuff, and you won't get it till you're already starting your prep. This way, when you're playing the same team the following week, the game you played, that's your film for the week. You don't have any other film to watch because it's the same opponent. So that's a big thing. And the second thing, like I said, you're not waiting. Sometimes teams play after you, and you don't have to wait for that. So during practice, you're going to be, day after the game, you're going to review the game. You're going to review the 60 plays you had. And let's say Calgary's looking at it and say, here's what we did well, here's what we didn't. Normally you'd do that with opponent, and then you go on to the next 3 days of watching, or next 2 days watching new film. Well, when it's the same team, you study it the day after the game, and then you're going to study it all week. So you're kind of double dipping. You have a little bit less film to watch, but you're watching your same film all week. And going into now game planning. For myself, I would always, and a lot of coordinators are going to be heavy game planners on the first week of the doubleheader. And why that's important is, you've got 2 weeks, and like Toronto, Calgary, they're on a short week this week. So they probably put a little bit more offense in last week while they had more practice time, because they got more time to teach it, watch it on film and meetings. And it should work against the next opponent, which is the same opponent. So you tend to have a heavier install on a back-to-back when you're playing somebody back-to-back. You're going to put in more stuff because hey, if I didn't call it this game, it should be good for the following week. I just got to confirm what they did off a tape. So yeah, usually you're going to have a lot of install the first week and be able to pull that out of a hat and go, hey, we didn't call this yet. We're going to call this week. So game planning. For me, an important thing always in game planning is I was going to show you a couple of things that you could recognize, understand, and go, when they do this, they run a curl. We'll call it that way. When they do this motion or movement, they're running a curl. And I'm going to show them those pictures because I'm setting them up for the following week. So I'm going to do something where they look at it and go, oh, I know that is a little tip for me to drive the curl, call it. So when that DB drives a curl the next week, well, that's the curl and go, or the double move. So I'm trying to embed pictures that defense can see. And when they see it, they go, oh, we know better. I know what's happening. Every time they do this is what happened. I always try to have 3 or 4 things that they think they know what's happening, and it's really either a double move or a shot play. That's a beauty of playing somebody to back-to-back. And the last thing I would say with this is when you're playing the same team, you accelerate the work week. So you don't have as much work to do because you don't have the next opponent. So like always, coaches will fast forward and go to the team the following week. So you're really going to keep heading in the direction of keep pushing stuff, continuing to make sure you're ahead of the game. You're battling time. And then the hardest part of this is if you played great one week, all right, you won the front part of the back-to-back, you feel a little bit more comfortable. If you lost and struggled and you didn't do very well, you're going to be questioning everything you tried to put in the week before. So really important you perform well on the first part of the back-to-back. So let's take a look at what a practice plan looks like on a short week. Let's look at a 3-day practice prep, what that looks like and what a short week looks like. So this is a first down day or day one. What's nice about the Canadian Football League with only 2 downs, some teams like to go day 1 is first down, day 2 is second down, day 3 is situational football and field position, and then you have a day before, then you have the game. So this is a first down day for me. And I'm just going to highlight a few things. Pace and situational trips. Let's call that you go 2 trips, possibly 12 plays. There's pressure period. Okay, we're working on blitzes, but it says 5 carded O&D, so it's 5 offensive plays and then 5 defensive plays where we service each other. And what that means, we show the looks of the other team. Team run, working on first down, so it's probably 8 runs and 3 passes, play action passes. Skelly is pass skeleton, where it's the linebackers and defensive backs versus the receivers and the running backs and the quarterbacks. And then team is 12 plays. So that's what a day 1 would be looking at first and 10. Call that 53 plays. That's what you get. Down here, I always talked about first down focus, right? Focus on offense, get first downs and first downs. You're 5 times greater, score a touchdown. And on defense, we're going to stop the run. We're going to be 5 times less likely to give up a touchdown if you did give up explosive plays, prevent explosives. And for special teams, Coach Dice always talked about first down of the drive. And same thing, if you get an explosive play in special teams, you're 5 times more likely to score a touchdown. So that's what a day 1 looks like. A day 2, let's go there. Let me clear this off first. We'll go over to a day 2 now. So in day 2, you're still working situations, less plays. You have 5 carded plays for each side of the ball. You have a team run. So now if you needed some carded plays, this is how I handled it. I still did 5 carded team runs. Then you would have this pass skeleton for second down plays. You'd have team for second down plays, which would be heavy pass. That number equals 34. So 34 passes on day 2, focusing on second down. If you combine those, that's 87 plays on first down and second down on 2 days. All right, I'm going to clear that off, and then let's go to what a short week looks like. What a short week would be, we combine day 1 and day 2. So basically, you have a longer, you can go through what we did, you have a longer walkthrough, and you walk 15 minutes on day 1, what you're trying to call day 1, and 15 minutes for day 2. Because you have walkthroughs on those days also, so you're just trying to build that up. You still have 10 carded pressure plays. This is probably going to be a walkthrough if it's a short week. We probably aren't going very fast. We would be probably a walkthrough. We'll see how our legs are, but it's probably a walkthrough. Team, you have 10 plays for first down. That's it. Okay. Team, you have 10 plays for second down. That's it. And obviously we have all our special teams. You have to get all your special teams work in, your field goal. And then that's it. So there is a huge change when you're on a short week. And like a lot of these plays, you're just going to be possibly walking through. So you've got to really make sure the first week on a back-to-back, especially a short week back-to-back, you got to have a good knowledge of what you're going to do. You don't want to put a lot of stuff in this week because you have no time to practice. So there's a couple of factors for short weeks and back-to-back games. Now, back-to-back games, it's very hard to beat the same opponent twice. And for Montreal, they went into Hamilton last week, beat them at their house, so now it should be harder for Hamilton to beat Montreal at home. And again, Calgary got the win at home. Now they got to travel to Toronto to make sure that they can win the game versus Toronto. So that'll be interesting to see what happens this week.